it's me, Harper Savage, and today we're going to be working in Create This Book. And today's first prompt is create a page of polka dots. Put polka dots on this page. So let's get to it. First, I think I'm going to black out this page. So I'll be right back. Here we are. So I want to try to use my jelly rolls and my bright line of Papermate Ink Joys. If they don't work, then I'll switch to acrylic markers. For this prompt, I decided to go with a pointillism-esque style instead of just doing a boring pattern of polka dots. So that means I made a picture out of dots instead of putting them in a specific formation. And now it's a very basic kind of pointillism. It's not one of the higher detailed ones. It's like big chunky dots and filling it in with tinier dots where I feel like they're needed. I wasn't following any kind of real pattern or anything, so they aren't really lined up on a grid or anything, which might have been cool looking if I had done that, but no, I just decided to fill it in. I'm not sure how long that was paused for. I'm guessing at least the green part that I just did, but yeah. My bad. I did realize that it was hard to see what was going on from that angle because of how close to the bottom of the pen I was holding it and because of the shine from the background. That's something I don't really love about acrylic paint, is the paint often dries shiny. I don't know how or why paint markers are matte, but acrylic paint is typically shiny. I find it hard to find matte acrylic paint. If it's out there, let me know where to find it, other than the internet. But I decided to use my jelly rolls and my bright line of ink joys because I was just really in the mood to use them. I could have easily used paint markers. It probably would have been a lot easier and not as time consuming because it probably could have been one coat for certain colors. But for the pens, because they do this thing that I believe is called railroading, where they push the ink out to the edges of where you're writing instead of being in the center. I had to go over it a couple of times. It wasn't a big deal because they're just dots, and I made them pretty, not massive, but large, where it wasn't going to be annoying to go back and do it. I had a harder time using the Papermate Brights. They didn't want to work as well as the jelly rolls. They're just different formulas. So I kind of went in knowing that the Brights weren't going to work as well, especially on the acrylic. They probably would have worked fine if it was dyed paper instead of painted paper. Now, I really like how the tulip side turned out. I do later go over some of the outlines with more black because I can still see the pencil lines. You can see them better from this angle than you can from a side view. And it was really annoying me because I couldn't erase it. It wouldn't go away. So I do eventually go back over it with a paint marker that stood out because, again, the paint markers are all matte and the background is shiny. Now, a lot of things that I cut out about this other page here was I actually put 4 more coats of black paint on it because I kept messing up the butterfly. It was the sketching part I was messing up, not even the dotting part, and I couldn't, again, erase the sketch, and I did start dotting it a couple of the times, not getting too far or anything. But I messed up so bad that I had to paint over each time, and so this side of the page ended up way more shiny than the other side because the other side only has 1 coat of black paint, where this one has 4 coats of buildup. It was still pretty thin and easy to curve and wrinkle, I guess. It wasn't stiff, is what I'm trying to say here. And I'm not gonna lie, don't super love the butterfly in the end. Anyways, I do like the idea I had with the rainbow pattern, but I don't know, it just looked really childish or kiddie-ish with the butterfly, but the tulips looked cute in a different way, I guess. And I do think the jelly rolls in general had a harder time on this page because of all the acrylic buildup behind it, so I had to go over this page a bit more, and I was like super sick of it by the time I was done. Not sick of the dotting part, but sick of the butterfly. And you won't see it in the video, but the pages do get stuck together and ruined, basically. So you might not see it look as nice ever again after this video, because it got stuck together. I even put like a couple layers of sealer on it before I closed the book, but when I opened it back up later to check on it and to get ideas for the next set of prompts, the black pages were stuck together, and unfortunately it ripped up on the side of the butterfly, and I tried to fix it by just like coloring in the ripped up spots, and it bled through to the previous page, which was the pet page, and that was my favorite page, and now there's like a little bit of bleed through on that, but I don't know. I think I did the best with what I could. And it only ripped near the gutter, so it's not like a huge deal. It's not like it ruined the last page. But it's like not ideal that happened. Now, I don't love the background on either of these. I like it a little bit more on the tulip side. I was going for like maybe like flaries or like maybe some like white flowers in the distance or something, but I don't know, they kind of just look like giant snowflakes to me. But it's still better than the butterfly background. Alright, so there's the polka dot page done. Next we have create a recorded conversation. Sit in a room with other people, write down everything you hear. Gonna have to think about this one. So I decided to go with a diner theme for this because I was at a diner where I heard this conversation. And on the left side, I decided to put the menu, and as you can see, it says apps and work drama in the entree section. And that's where I'm gonna kind of summarize what I'm gonna talk about here. And on the right side is the food I ordered that day. Now, I don't go out to eat often. Don't think that I do this all the time. It's just I happen to be at a diner and overhear this conversation. I ordered a grilled chicken sandwich. They called it something fancy. I want to call it a chicken Italiano, but I don't think that's what it was called at this particular diner, but that's what it's called at other diners. It just had like roasted red peppers, grilled chicken, and spinach, and I think it had Maz cheese on it. I'm not sure. And I got an iced tea. So the conversation I overheard was about like the management at this place, and it wasn't a good one. And it was a server talking very loudly about the scheduling going on there and how she's unhappy with how people are being scheduled, and she doesn't like a new weekend rule that they're trying to implement. And she's confident that other servers are going to quit over this and going to follow her when she leaves if this rule really gets implemented. The weekend rule, from what I understand, is everybody has to work a weekend day, and she's not happy about that because she has kids and she recently moved far away, so she can't even stay out late. Like, she was complaining about the times she had to work too, not just this weekend thing. She was demanding to only work 9 to 5 and not be flexible at all. And if you're a server, you know that that's not realistic of an expectation to work the same consistent schedule. I used to work in a restaurant, so I wanted to be on her side with this, but I think she was being a little bit ridiculous, saying that the reasoning they have to keep her on this schedule is because she moved far away. That was her decision to make, to move far away from this place of work. So why is that their problem? You know what I mean? And the working the weekend thing is to make it fair for everybody, because I think this particular diner gets more action on the weekends. And also they are a little bit understaffed. Like, they have a hiring sign out, but at the time I had gone, there was like nobody there and way too many servers just standing around doing nothing. So I do think they have enough staff working there, just not at the hours that they need. But anyways, she's unhappy about the schedule is what it comes down to. I'm not really on her side with this. Let me know what you think, though. I am kind of summarizing what had gone on here. There was a lot of loudness and other servers being really quiet about it because she was on the main floor next to the register talking very loudly about the situation. So I'm like, that's not very professional of you, but okay. I know you're just a server, so maybe this job doesn't mean anything to you. But if you know anything about what's going on in the world, you're not going to find a job easy. Let me tell you. But whatever. Yeah, that's the recorded conversation I heard. Now I'll show you better at the end what I did right here. Now I do kind of like skip past me writing everything on the menu side. You'll see it at the end. And I do close the book because I thought it was done this day, but that was only the second prompt. So, and I just didn't record me opening it back up to transition to the next prompt flawlessly. Okay, we have create an array of media. Draw one object over and over using a different medium each time. One drawing with marker, one with pen, one with pencil. Note if you're feeling extra adventurous, try using unconventional media like ketchup, chocolate, mud, or anything else you can think of. Ew, no. I don't think anyone has done this. But let's see what I can come up with. Here we are. So what I did to get the image looking similar is I drew it on a separate piece of paper and I traced it using a light box and I flipped it so it would be facing the opposite way sometimes. So it is the same image over and over again, with some modifications on purpose and some modifications by accident. But let's go ahead and start coloring this with all the mediums we chose. So for this first one, I went with ballpoint pen. I'm using a combination of my Bic ballpoint pens and my Papermate ones. I don't love the Papermate ones. I don't recommend them. They are very cheap, and I love Papermate in general as a brand, but they are not good. Like the pen. Like the ink is fine. It's like the pen part that's like not good. Anyways, I had to experiment with how to get these colors to all work together because I had a very limited color palette. I also at first was going with the shape of the mushrooms, and I kind of adjusted so it wasn't only like going in one direction, and I think it made it look a little bit better. And for this segment, I am going to only show me like coloring in one mushroom just to save on time because it's the same way for each mushroom in each section. For the next set of mushrooms, I go in with acrylic paint markers. I decided to color in this batch of mushrooms because I accidentally put 2 Sharpie dots on that bigger mushroom, and I figured acrylic paint markers would cover that up compared to the other art supplies I had chosen, which is in the left corner if you want to get a spoiler. I wrote down potential art supplies and starred the ones that I had picked. And I was going to color this how I normally would color with acrylic markers, which is like more of a cell shading style, but I ended up pulling out the paintbrush because I didn't like how it was looking, and I blended the mushroom colors together. And I also, for some reason, didn't pick a blue that matched the blue color I was going for, like with the ballpoint pens for the mushroom stock. And I also, on the mushroom, I was trying to show you guys at first that I was coloring with the 2 Sharpie dots. Was having a hard time with that one. Like, I could not get that one to blend right away, so I decided to choose another mushroom to focus on so you guys can see the process a bit better. The next set of mushrooms I decided to do in color pencil. I did them over the ballpoint pen mushrooms because I thought it would look really interesting having something smooth next to something like textured, or in this case on top of. And also because I knew color pencil was going to hurt my hand. That's why I took a break in the middle and colored the other mushrooms, because acrylic paint markers are not as hard on the hands as ballpoint pens and color pencils. And Prismacolors are one of those pencils that are like better at blending than layering. So at first I was layering, and then I just was like, this is stupid, let me just blend it instead of trying to build up layers because it's not going to work. Then for the top set of mushrooms, I went with alcohol markers in case there was any bleed out. I could at least cut the top of the bleed out on instead of it being in the middle of the two mushroom clusters. Something happened here, and it had to do with the blotter sheet behind it. It's black. It's attached to the paper pad that I was using the paper from. And it made all my yellow turn that gold color and also ruined that one mushroom because some of the black came up through it. So I think it affected how my markers were blending in general because I just used this paper with markers and it was fine. But for some reason this day, it was not fine. And it did not like blending on that black paper and kind of ruined the rest of the mushrooms. And for the last set of mushrooms, I used crayons, and again, crayons are a bit hard on the hands when you have adult-sized hands. And I happened to pick a bunch of broken crayons. You can't see that they're broken, but they are all taped together. All right, it's now time for us to rate the prompts and the art. So let's see what we did today. So first we did create a page of polka dots. Now there are some like peely wheelies that came off of this because I haven't cleaned this off yet. And also some yellow dots, even though I had sealed it and I didn't close it at all. So I'm not sure how the yellow dots got there. But because I put so many layers of black paint here because I kept messing up, it just got thick and I think it needs more than one layer of sealer. But for the prompt itself, I'm going to rate it a 3 out of 5 stars because I don't think it's very creative at all. It's pretty basic. Now for the artwork, I like the tulip side better than the butterfly side. I like the background and everything on the tulips. So let me see. What should I rate this? Because this was like not a fun process on the butterfly's half. You know what? I'll give it a 3 out of 5 chi heads just because I did struggle a lot with the butterfly half. So let me find that. And I'll put it on this page. Just because there's less going on here. Here we are. Put that back in until I can put another layer of sealer on this. And then we did the create a recorded conversation. What you guys missed me doing here was just writing in the apps and the summary of the work drama and some breakfast items on the menu. This prompt is quite bad. If I'm being honest here with you guys. Sit in a room with other people, write down everything you hear. Like, I feel like that's not cool. Not cool to do. But I did it anyways. In my case, it was kind of hard to not overhear how loudly this server was being. But I don't know. I just don't think that's okay to encourage. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give it a 1 star. Also because it's like hard to draw that. Like this is supposed to be like an art prompt book, right? And you're just writing stuff down. So we had to really use our noggins to come up with like images and stuff. So I don't know. I don't think it's very good for the art side of being a prompt. And I'm going to rate the artwork. You know what? I don't hate the artwork like I thought I was going to. So I'm going to rate the artwork a 4 out of 5 chi heads. And I'm going to put it right here. No, let's center it. So there's that one. And then last, oof. We did create an array of media. Now, the reason you didn't see this bleed through here was because I actually did this prompt before the last one. Because I was having a hard time coming up with something. But I do like this prompt a lot. So I am going to give it a 5-star rating. I was considering taking off points for this like side note of do something with gross stuff. Because I think no one is gonna do that. I think they're all gonna use, you know, art mediums. But, you know, I could be wrong. I did have a lot of fun with doing the artwork too. Because I use mediums I don't get to use that often. Like the ballpoint pens and the crayons. So I think the artwork actually looks pretty good too. So I'm going to give that a 5 chi head rating. And I'm going to put it over here since there's space. Here is... Now my favorite of the week is going to be this one, obviously. It was a good prompt, and I think I had a good outcome. My favorite on this page, though, is probably the ballpoint pen, because I had to figure out how to use colors together because I had very limited colors of ballpoint pens compared to the rest of my mediums. And I don't know what happened with the alcohol markers not blending at all, considering I just did another prompt for how much art you can make with alcohol markers, and I thought they worked better than this. I don't know, maybe it was just the colors I picked don't go together. And honestly, working with the crayons was so hard because they're so small, and all the crayons I chose were, of course, the broken ones. So it was an extra challenge for me to like draw. But yeah, I think the ballpoint pen and the color pencil definitely my faves out of this. But that is going to be it for me today. If you guys want to check out the last Create This Book video, you could tap the thumbnail here. If you want to catch up on anything you missed, you could tap the thumbnail here. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to do all the cool YouTube things of comment, liking, subscribing, and turning on that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!